Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, from 161 to 188, is celebrated as the last of the 5 good emperors. Often hailed as a benevolent philosopher-king, Marcus dedicated himself to embodying Stoic philosophy, exemplifying traits like judicious action, self-discipline, and reverence throughout his reign. Amidst his rule, he dedicated time to penning a series of autobiographical writings, now known as the Meditations. His prolific journaling provides valuable insights into his methods for dealing with difficult individuals in his daily life. In this discussion, we will explore 5 strategies employed by Marcus Aurelius to manage challenging people and how we can apply these lessons in our contemporary world. 1. Set your expectations straight in accordance with the teachings of Stoicism. Marcus Aurelius advised, when you wake up in the morning, tell yourself, the people I deal with today will be meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, dishonest, jealous, and fearless. And surely, Stoicism encourages us to view people and situations as they truly are, rather than through the lens of our desires or expectations. Marcus Aurelius, known for his exceptional self-control and discipline, practiced a valuable technique as part of his morning routine, negative visualization. This practice helped him set realistic expectations for his interactions with others. Every morning, he engaged in this mental exercise to prepare himself for the individuals he might encounter throughout the day. He trained himself to be equipped to handle anyone, regardless of how challenging or unpleasant they might be. The purpose of this practice was not to harbor negative thoughts about others, but rather to remain mentally prepared for the inevitable interactions with difficult people. By doing so, he ensured that he could respond to them with equanimity and composure. This Stoic approach teaches us the importance of mental readiness and emotional resilience when dealing with challenging individuals in our own lives. Imagine that you are in your office working on your usual task and everything is just fine. Suddenly your boss comes to you and starts shouting at you in front of your colleagues for an error in your report or for something you may or may not have done. In this situation, you will probably feel embarrassed, demotivated, and probably more than a little angry. Now imagine the exact same scenario, only this time your colleague warns you about your boss being in a bad mood. Now that you already know about your boss' mood, you will double-check your report before sending it in, and even then, if your boss yells at you for something you may or may not have done, you'll still be startled, but not nearly as much because you already knew what to expect. Your expectations deeply influence your emotions, and by regularly reminding yourself that unpleasant people can show up at any time, this won't startle you as much, and you'll be better able to deal with them. Difficult people are going to be there, and you will encounter them. It's part of life, so expect it to happen. 2. Let it go. Marcus Aurelius wisely advises, the best revenge is to be unlike the one who performed the injustice. Long before the era of Disney princesses, he imparted this timeless wisdom to his followers. His teaching emphasizes that true strength lies not in seeking revenge, but in rising above the harmful actions of others. When faced with rudeness or insults, responding with kindness and understanding, rather than retaliating in a similar manner, demonstrates a higher level of moral character. Reacting with hostility only serves to perpetuate a cycle of negativity and justify the negative behavior of others. Instead, by embodying virtues such as patience and compassion, we not only maintain our dignity, but also create an opportunity for positive change in the behavior of those who have wronged us. Indeed, Marcus Aurelius encourages us to take the higher ground with our response, approaching difficult situations with virtue and logic rather than reacting impulsively. He reminds us that despite our careful planning and preparations, life can often take unexpected turns. We may not have control over external events or the actions of others. No matter how diligently we work, we might not receive the promotion we hoped for, encounter unexpected traffic during our daily commute, or achieve viral success with a video. Additionally, we may face personal setbacks, such as illness. Stoicism teaches us to accept these circumstances with equanimity and focus on what we can control, our own attitudes, behaviors, and responses. By maintaining our composure and adapting to the challenges life presents, we can navigate adversity with resilience and grace. You can't really control any of these things. People are no different. Their speech and actions are also external, uncontrollable events. Whether at work or in a social situation, we all encounter difficult people from time to time. Some will cut in your line. Others may lie and take credit for your work or humiliate you in public. Even though one cannot control most of the things they say or do, we let them and their insult affect us long after the incident is over, maybe for an entire day or week or month or even an entire lifetime, and we often respond to it with resentment, anger, or even by plotting out revenge. However, according to the Stoics, vengeance is a waste of time and will ultimately do you more harm than good. They would advise us not to take things too personally. If someone mistreats you, it's because, in that moment, they don't know any better. Their actions must be either intentional or unintentional. If the actions are unintentional, it is not worthwhile to expend our time and energy dwelling on their thoughtlessness. If they are intentional, then it reflects a flaw in their character, and we must recognize our inability to control the behavior of others. Our sphere of control is limited to our own responses to their behavior. Therefore, the next time we encounter rudeness, derogatory remarks, or offensive tones, it's beneficial to introspect and assess whether we have genuinely suffered any harm as a result of these actions. For example, if someone makes fun of you and calls you ugly, ask yourself, does the opinion of someone like that actually matter? What exactly are the possible consequences to you if they were to keep calling you ugly? The only possible consequences are in your own head, and if they are just in your mind, then you can control them. And if you can control them, then they can't do you any harm. Aurelius teaches us to resist the impulse to respond with resentment and instead learn to let it go. 3. Remember our common humanity. Marcus Aurelius expresses, we are inherently meant to collaborate, much like the seamless coordination of feet, hands, and eyes, or the upper and lower rows of teeth. To impede one another is contrary to our nature. Feeling anger towards someone or turning our backs on them represents a departure from our inherent unity. According to Aurelius, a shared connection exists within our human existence. Indeed, the human experience encompasses a wide array of emotions, challenges, and trials. While our individual circumstances and lifestyles may vary, we share commonalities in our vulnerability to pain, illness, loss, and mortality. As inherently social beings, we possess innate evolutionary traits that promote cooperation and connection. Therefore, it is imperative to approach everyone with kindness and compassion, irrespective of the difficulties they may present. When Marcus would experience a shameless or a difficult person, he'd ask himself, is a world without shamelessness possible? No. Then don't ask the impossible. There have to be shameless people in the world. This is one of them. We all know that meeting problematic people is unavoidable in our lives. However, Marcus would advise us not to see the actions of these difficult and abrasive people as directly targeting you. Instead, we should attribute their ill behavior to ignorance. They behave poorly because they lack the knowledge that you possess. When someone says or does something that is wrong in your eyes, the judgment of being wrong is based on the knowledge that you have. If a person doesn't have the same information or wisdom as you, it is unlikely that they'll come to the same conclusions regarding what is right and wrong. Consider a situation where you're working on a team project and a colleague consistently fails to meet deadlines and contributes minimally to the effort. It's easy to become frustrated and interpret their behavior as a personal attack or a deliberate attempt to hinder your progress. However, applying Marcus Aurelius' perspective, you might pause and reflect. Just like everyone else, we can also be ignorant. Think about it. How often do you act or speak with the purposes of upsetting or hurting someone else? How many times have you actively pursued the baiting or taunting of another? With that in mind, you will realize that no matter how irritating or troublesome someone is being, that is usually not their intention. You realize that your colleague might not have the same work ethic or time management skills that you do. Perhaps they're struggling with personal issues that affect their performance. Instead of harboring resentment, you approach the situation with empathy and offer assistance or guidance to help them improve. In doing so, you shift your focus from seeing their behavior as a direct attack on you to understanding it as a result of their own limitations and lack of knowledge in certain areas. This change in perspective can lead to a more constructive and compassionate response. So, when you engage with family, friends, colleagues, and strangers, treat them with kindness. Remind yourself of our common humanity and that you don't know what the other person is going through, which is why you should always strive to be present and compassionate in your social interaction. This will elevate your relationships and deepen your appreciation for others. In those infrequent instances where their intention is to inflict harm upon you, you still have the power to return to the fundamental principle of controlling your own thoughts and actions. If you encounter someone who is actively trying to undermine your spirit, you can opt to rise above their negativity by steadfastly adhering to your own moral principles and values. 4. Take action. To quote Marcus Aurelius, waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. According to Aurelius, our character isn't defined by what we say, but by our action. People are profoundly influenced by what we do, rather than what we say. Our actions speak so loudly that they often drown out our words. Therefore, if you wish to inspire and influence others, it's more effective to demonstrate through your actions rather than merely stating your intention. It's common for people to focus on and critique the shortcomings of others after a few unpleasant interactions. It's a common occurrence for us to engage in complaints about co-workers, spouses, friends, and the perceived toxicity in our relationships without taking any meaningful action. Often, we wait for the other person to initiate change. However, it's important to recognize that problems in relationships tend to worsen if left unaddressed. Taking proactive steps to address these issues is essential. Start by introspection and consider your own behavior that might be contributing to the problem. Reflect on whether your ego is preventing you from taking action or having difficult conversations. Instead of talking about each other, it's crucial to open lines of communication and talk to each other directly to resolve the issues. If you desire personal growth for yourself and those in your circle, refrain from dictating how others should behave. Instead, focus on developing virtuous qualities within yourself and demonstrate them through your actions. By embodying these virtues, you become an inspiration to others. Your behavior encourages those around you to strive for improvement as well. In this way, you contribute to making life not only better for yourself, but also for everyone in your community. For example, if you wish to foster a more positive and collaborative atmosphere at your workplace, don't simply lecture your colleagues on teamwork and respect. Instead, actively practice these virtues in your daily interactions. Offer assistance when needed, listen attentively to others' perspectives, and maintain a respectful attitude even in challenging situations. Your consistent display of these virtues will set a powerful example for your co-workers, motivating them to follow suit. In this manner, you contribute to a healthier and more harmonious work environment, all through your actions, not just words. 5. Overcome envy. Marcus Aurelius imparts a valuable lesson. Envy what you don't have, and you'll never be free, independent, imperturbable, because you'll always be envious and jealous, afraid that people might come and take it all away from you. In alignment with Stoic philosophy, there are 4 passions known to contribute to our unhappiness: distress, fear, lust, and delight. Envy and jealousy, classified as forms of distress, have the power to consume us and cloud our judgment. The blinding passion of envy, characterized by the desire for something possessed by another or resentment towards their success, can inflict significant pain and turmoil upon us. Marcus Aurelius reminds us that true happiness is not found in the pursuit of what others possess. Rather, it resides within ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to seek contentment and inner peace by focusing on our own virtues and values, freeing us from the shackles of envy and fostering independence and tranquility. We hold the ultimate responsibility for our life's fulfillment. Envy directed towards the possessions or success of others places our happiness in their control. a futile and misguided endeavor. Often we squander substantial portions of our time scrolling through social media, comparing ourselves to carefully curated images posted by friends. This leads to feelings of inadequacy and unjustly desiring the lives others appear to lead. Envy is a complex amalgamation of emotions triggered by the success, skills, or qualities of another person that we covet. When envy takes root within a relationship, it often leads to tension and conflict, undermining the very bonds that connect us. According to the Stoic philosophy, all the blessings in our lives are temporary gifts from fortune, destined to be reclaimed sooner or later. This perspective encourages us to recognize that those who currently possess the success, relationships, or fame we desire may lose it all tomorrow, as we have no control over fortune's whims and plans for them. Consider the impermanence of wealth, fame, and power. They are all fleeting and beyond our influence. The more one possesses, the greater the risk of loss. Instead of continually measuring our lives against others, Stoicism suggests we shift our focus inward and compare our present selves to who we were yesterday. This continuous journey of self-improvement not only fosters genuine happiness and fulfillment, but also frees us from the shackles of envy. By concentrating on our own growth and character development, we can break free from the cycle of envy and its corrosive effects on our well-being and relationship. The Stoic teachings remind us that true contentment arises not from coveting what others have, but from nurturing our own virtues and embracing the ebb and flow of fortune with equanimity. In doing so, we cultivate a more profound sense of inner peace and resilience, which ultimately leads to a more fulfilling and meaningful life. Let's consider a common scenario. You're scrolling through your social media feed and you come across a friend's post showcasing their latest luxury vacation, complete with stunning beach views and glamorous experiences. You can't help but feel a pang of envy as you compare their extravagant getaway to your more modest lifestyle. In this moment, envy has taken hold, making you feel inadequate and discontented with your own life. However, when you apply Stoic principles, you remind yourself that all external circumstances, including material possessions and experiences, are ultimately beyond your control and subject to the whims of fortune. The Stoic perspective encourages you to shift your focus inward. Instead of fixating on what others have, you reflect on your own journey of personal growth and character development. You ask yourself, am I a better person today than I was yesterday? This shift in mindset redirects your energy towards self-improvement rather than fruitless comparisons. By embracing this Stoic approach, you break free from the grip of envy, recognizing that true happiness and fulfillment arise from cultivating your own virtues and inner resilience. In doing so, you not only enhance your well-being, but also foster stronger, more meaningful relationships unburdened by the corrosive effects of envy. In conclusion, Marcus Aurelius, through his Stoic philosophy, offers timeless wisdom on how to deal with difficult people. By recognizing the limits of control, maintaining inner peace, practicing empathy, and responding with virtue, individuals can navigate challenging interpersonal interactions with grace and wisdom. Stoicism provides a practical framework for fostering understanding, compassion, and personal growth, ultimately leading to more harmonious relationships and a life well lived. In an ever-changing world where difficult people are a constant presence, the Stoic teachings of Marcus Aurelius serve as a guiding light, illuminating the path to resilience and wisdom in the face of adversity.